Wow, that's pretty good.
I don't know how that's going to work with our intro music, but it's Mark. Return to Glory podcast. Hunter Zarbnicki, Austin Rose, Dakota Freetag. Hopefully it's March for the Huskers as far as making the postseason tournament. But Code Red, that's how I'd like to call it right now on where we're at after the loss to Minnesota on Saturday. Dak, you were there.
Yeah, we can just start out. Very fun game. First half's what killed them.
Well, yeah, you're down 19 at 15 minutes left in the game.
Great insight, Dak. Bravo.
We lost by 2, so if you do the math where we don't give up a 20-point lead.
I cannot remember what his name is. That white kid in Minnesota just hit everything. Cannot remember what his name is, but that last shot, I was like, oh, this going in.
Averages like less than 5 points a game on the year.
Just goes nuclear.
And what do you have, 20?
Rigsby, 7 for 8, 20 points. Yeah.
He's out there shushing the crowd, too.
The question, I guess, is why? Like, I've heard some other people talk that game may have been one of the more disappointing losses that Nebraska basketball has had. Not that in Husker sports, because we know we've had plenty of those on the football side. But for basketball in itself, a game that, as much as you want to say it, should win at home. I think we were 8 or 9 point favorite. It was obviously a big one here for resume boosting and postseason play. Crowd was rocking. Stripe out. Raid the stripe out.
Did all right. Based off the picture Dak sent me, I'll give it a B. B.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, B. It wasn't the best thing I ever saw, but yeah, B. We'll say it was pretty good.
So, I mean, crowd was rocking from what it sounds like, and then you come out and you start the way you start in that game. I don't have an answer. I don't have an explanation, but just the fact that is what happened, and that speaks for itself. I don't know what it speaks and what it says, but it's funny. Nebraska's, we probably are not, like, we would not call ourselves good this year. We've had our moments. We've also laid a bunch of eggs, and when I say a bunch, some blowout losses, and then losing a game like this at home. I don't know. Like, does this team belong in the tournament?
It's funny because you think back to the way the football season went, and going into the year, we all thought, man, we're going to be like 7-5, 6-6. And then we had the really good start, and we were all like, oh man, Hunter's like, we're going to win the college championship.
I never went that far.
But then, like, the same thing's happening here. We had this incredible start. Going into the year, we all thought we were going to be like probably like 20-12, or I mean, I think that's where we all had us, was like 20-12. I don't know if any of us really went higher than that. And now we're 17-12 with 2 winnable games, allegedly. Yeah, it's just funny.
I mean, the thing that really kills this team, and I feel like that's since Hoiberg's got hired, every single team has this, is those long scoring droughts. They just go 6-7 minutes without scoring a basket and just taking terrible shots too. That's what's killing them. That and Burke hasn't done anything.
Allen off the bench guy.
Yeah, you don't much outside the 2 stars.
Yeah, Barricade being back from injury has not been the same. I think Asesian now is known exactly what he's known to do, and it's fine. That adds an element out there on the floor of shooting. But he hasn't been great. You know, Gary's never been an offensive guy. We've always said that. And man, for a guy like that to see him take his jersey off the way he did after the game, I mean, just in pure frustration. And Bryce, like he is a damn good player. He's athletic. Can shoot it. Great mid-range game. He's our go-to guy, but the problem is he is kind of the only thing that we really have as far as creating consistently in our offense. So Minnesota did a great job defending us, and obviously Michigan did too, holding us under 50 in that game. it's one of those things that who do you turn to? And this is where I'm going to say it. We knew we missed Casey, and we knew we missed all of the shooting and the threat. But the part that we maybe not have talked about that we missed the most is his energy and his just what he brings for the teams.
It gives you that any
Mojo.
night of the year, we can go out there and absolutely just shoot you off the floor. That
Well,
was the
shoot,
kind
and
of
I'm talking about the
confidence.
end. Take a shooting away, just as pure mojo and his.
That's what I'm
It's
saying. Like
like-
that's the mojo you got with it, though. It's like this guy can come out there and he can just he can shoot you out of the gym. Now, did he always? No, sometimes, but that was kind of the energy.
When I saw something today too that said, through the same point in the year, Connor Sejan's actually attempted 31 less and made 9 less threes. So, I mean, to put it in perspective, that's very similar. I mean, obviously he hasn't attempted as many, but as far as number wise, he's putting up similar numbers to Casey. It's just you lose that, and rank. I think is the other big piece, like you mentioned, that hurts from last year's team to this year's team. I don't. Again, this is trying to explain the why. I don't know that there is. Besides, we need to win these games if we want to have a shot in the tournament. And you know what? I don't know if this team deserves. Like, is this team a tournament team? Do you want to see them like not Nebraska fans, but just in general?
What's defined as tournament teams? So many freaking teams make the tournament. Like, I'm not like do we deserve to be in the tournament? Shit, we could beat probably 10 teams that make the tournament.
I mean, the bottom of the bubble is always pretty bad, and this year it's really bad. This year, I mean, you got to look at those other teams. Nebraska's on the same level as all those bottom bubble teams.
That's what is awesome or cool this year as far as where we're at. Even after this loss, we're now, I mean, back in the thick of the bubble where I don't think that we're out. It feels like we're out, but I don't think that we are. And a lot of people are saying, well, we got to win our last 2 and a tournament game. I think with all these lower bubble teams, I mean, beating Ohio State's going to be a big check mark if we can do that tomorrow night. But go 1-1 and win 2 tournament games. I mean, I think you get the 20 wins, you're in. Like, I think that bottom line, however you do that. In 19, I don't think that's out of the question just because there's so many bad bubble teams this year, especially more than other years that have bad losses that just don't have resumes that even previous year bubble teams do. So we're still there. It's not like
it's not over yet,
but it just feels demoralizing after that loss.
Well, Saturday. It's because it's the second loss by the last second. You know, like we had the lead with 8 seconds left in the game, and then it was like, oh, our defense is just going to let this guy shoot this 3, and he drills it. And we didn't really get a look at the end, but we kind of did.
Not the one you'd want.
Not the one you'd want. Not with who had it.
Andrew Morgan heave.
Yeah. It was, I think it's more of it feels like a code red. I still think we're in the tournament. It feels like a code red because we've had 2 games that we've lost by 3 or fewer points, and we need to win. At least we needed to win one of these easier games, and we have not even done that.
No. And tomorrow might be loser goes home game because you guys are both sitting on the same tier there. I think whoever loses this game won't make tournament. Whoever wins is pretty much a loss.
Maybe you can say that, but then we go on and beat Iowa. Now, I should put an asterisk next to this. And obviously, if we lose both games and don't make the Big Ten tournament, there's obviously a 0% chance that we're in. And I think that is a scenario that could happen if we were to lose out and not even make the Big Ten tournament. But I think even if you lose Ohio State, beat Iowa, you still can pull off a couple of wins, and it's still the Big Ten, right? It's not like we're going to be playing teams that we can go up and have no shot at beating. I mean, any team in the Big Ten, let's be real. I mean, Michigan State's playing well right now. You probably wouldn't want to run into them, but throw us up against any of these other. We just saw what happened against Michigan. I don't think it's out of the question that we can't win those games, but it would take a lot to do to get us in. Like I said, I think getting to 20, you feel good. However, you get to 20 wins with 2 remaining games left on the regular season and then the Big Ten tournament, I think you're probably sitting pretty good. But that starts tomorrow when we play Ohio State on the road. That we're not going to be favored in, and Ohio State's also not playing well. But you can win that game. You're feeling a lot better about where you're sitting for the bubble.
I mean, you win that game, you're at least locked in the Big Ten tournament, which
Correct.
gives you a chance to boost.
That gives you the start. Obviously, if you don't get in there, you're not getting in anyways. So,
I mean, you look at Ohio State; they're 16-12. They're projected 11 seed right now. Like,
yeah,
I can't remember.
They're right ahead. And Indiana's back in now.
They beat Nebraska here, didn't they?
Close.
Yeah, that was on that like 6-game losing streak. Yeah. Like, news win tomorrow. Good luck on the road.
So this might be a very forward-looking and worthless conversation now. But I think this team, hopefully, even if we lose, should potentially still be in the NIT and have a shot there. I still don't think it's the worst thing in the world if we can find a way, if we do go to the NIT, like to get to the Final Four of the NIT and show that there's like winning about this team and care. Last time this happened where we missed the tournament and then that happened not even get a home game, we went and just got drilled by Mississippi State in the NIT.
Yep.
Not saying that that's going to happen. We're going to be an NIT team for sure. But if it does, I hope that for, everybody's sake, but I will say mainly for Hoiberg, that they have that fight and bring that fight and don't think we're quote unquote too good for the NIT, because good God, we aren't. That's an opportunity to play in the postseason, and we better show up and be cool to win a few games in that tournament. So that's long ways down the road there, but I think that that's part of the conversation. Everybody's still wanting an NCAA tournament bid, obviously, and I think that's still possible, but it just looks bleaker and bleaker every time we lose one of these games.
If I had to say right now, if I had to put money on it, I'd say we make the tournament, lose round 1.
Wow.
Not in the first 4, just the whole.
I'm the opposite. I think there's a chance. I lean more towards no right now.
So you think they win tomorrow, Austin?
I think they win one of the last 2, and I think that's enough to get us in the last 4.
What I'm scared of is losing tomorrow, beating Iowa, and then losing first round of the Big Ten tournament. And I think that could be a plausible scenario. Or losing, winning, losing, going 19 and 14, and not getting into. I think that would be the true bubble right there. That scenario in my mind.
Now, did you see in the projection right now who also is in the first 4 is Nebraska?
You baby.
Yep. You said at the beginning of the year, wouldn't that be sweet to be the first win? There you go. Boy, they suck. They make your eyes bleed too, though. They are not fun to watch. like I watch Nebraska, I watch Oklahoma. I'm like, these are the same exact team.
I mean, everyone's going to talk about whether if we do get one of those first 4 games in Dayton and play that game, if that counts. It counts. It does. It's part of the tournament. It's just not the same feeling.
It's not how you want to get your first tournament win.
No.
But if it's against Oklahoma, it for sure damn counts.
We'd have to go.
I'm going where if we make it, I'm going regardless, wherever or whenever. So that's just up to you to go.
No, I'm out. If it's in Dayton, I'm out. I'm not going to the first 4 games.
Could be a hell of a time.
I would. I didn't think I made the mistake after we lost 6 in a row. I was like, screw it. I'm going to sign up for a curling tournament the first weekend. Like, we're not making it. I'm out. And we turned it around.
That's what's been weird. It was like up, then we looked horrible, then we got back up again, and now we're back down.
Horrible.
Can we get it back up here?
Like how we play offense. I guess We don't. Maybe this is premature. I was gonna say Fred Hoiberg. Temperature check.
I mean, the crowd was pissed. I heard a lot of fire Hoiberg.
I was not going to bring it up because I knew it probably wasn't the time to talk about it, but I've heard the rumblings, and now that you brought it up, we can talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I don't think you fire him after this year if we don't make the tournament. But the seat is hot.
Loss to end the year, not make the Big Ten tournament.
I've said this all along. Who are you going to get that's better?
I'll tell you who I thought of 2 years ago that I was hot on.
Porter Moser?
No. Rick
the guy at
Pitino.
Iowa State.
And guess what? We thought we don't want Rick Pitino, comes with too much baggage, all this stuff. Well, looky now, people. Look what he's done.
That's true.
He's not coming here anymore, but
He's
that was who I wanted.
He's
2
way
years
above
ago.
that now.
Great. But I don't know. Again, this goes back to conversation. Who are you going to get? Who do you want? I don't know. I don't care. But what we have is stale. It's gone stale. So that's what ultimately with a lot of coaching changes happen is when you stop seeing growth and improvement, or you start seeing obviously downfalls of teams. Or people just become stale. And like Dak, I wasn't at the game, but you said maybe people were upset, frustrated. That's usually where it starts.
Oh, yeah.
Is fan bases,
I mean,
especially from Husker fans.
Maybe Bill Self will be on the market. He had to come out and put a statement after I lost the game.
Maybe they're playing well right now against Houston.
They're projected a 5 seed, and he has to come out and have a statement about he's sorry that how bad they're playing.
Yeah.
They're playing well against Houston right now.
I don't think there's any shot you should fire Hoiberg, especially give him one more year. Like, I just do not see who can get that would be better.
But see, this is where Dak, I disagree completely with that. How long are you going to keep saying one more year? And you're not the only one, but people just say, who else are you going to get? I don't know, but give someone a fresh try and start. I'm so sick and tired of, especially in Nebraska, thinking we have to hire the next big name coach that everybody knows and has a resume. Like,
We could take a flyer on the South Dakota State coaches.
I want some young football too. Again, we have rural, and that's going the way it's going. You don't need to hire. I like coaches that have motivation, that want to earn themselves. Nebraska is not, especially in basketball, is not a program that you come here to end your career here. That's not what you're doing. Nebraska basketball, especially, I want somebody with motivation, a young guy, the next step up. I kind of said that with football a little bit too. Like, I get it. And Rule is probably the best scenario case of those, but I didn't want necessarily even like an Urban Meyer, like a guy that, you know what, if he comes in and for a year or two and things aren't working out, he's just kind of going to say, F it, my life's been great. See ya. Like, I feel like that's when you're at that point, a lot of those coaches, that's how they kind of think. And Hoiberg's done a good job of trying to keep things fresh and motivated, but I hate the excuse of who else are you going to get. I hate that is my least favorite line to ever hear when it comes to coaching searches, because we don't know, unless you've done extensive research on mid-major type coaches, you have no idea who's out there.
And I don't know about you guys, I haven't.
But exactly. That's why you say that, and you just say it like you know what you're talking about, where you have no idea.
It'd be wild. We went out and got I don't know, Kim Mulkey or something, like Don's,
I just throwing a guy out there. I don't even know who it is, but the Drake's head coach.
I had that thought too. Yeah,
they're right now, winning the Missouri Valley pretty handily and looking to be a tournament team. There's always 2 to 3 to 4 coaches that, a 12 seed or an 11 seed or even lower that make a run at it in the tournament. Those are the kind of guys that I like. I would love to take a flyer on versus saying, well, let's just give it one more year. We know what we're going to get next year with Hoiberg. We know exactly what we're going to get. We're going to get a bunch of transfers in that everyone's going to think, okay, these guys could be good. We're going to piece something together. We're going to try to fit this puzzle. We're going to see if we can make the tournament again. And great if that's what we're after. But if it fails again, then why are we going to keep trying that approach when we could bring somebody else in with a fresh face that could give us something potential there? That might fail too, but it's better than just going through the same cycle that we've gone through over the last 5-6 years.
I mean, that's kind of what we did with Tim Miles.
Correct.
And it worked until it didn't.
I guess, yeah, he got fired, I guess, same way Holberger's, where you feel like it's just you're stuck in the same position. That's why Miles got fired.
Right. We get right up to the bubble, and then we just live there.
Yeah.
Now what's crazy, this is how funny this is. We're also, winning 2-3. So I'm going to go back to my 20-win scenario. Winning 3 and then +1. We're also 4 games away from Hoiberg being a legendary coach in Nebraska because he won our first tournament game. I mean, that's the other way of thinking of it, that's still in reach. And we had
that conversation earlier in the year of like, he could become the best coach in Nebraska history.
And I obviously the one that puts that tournament win out there will be, regardless of what you've done leading up to that. So that's what's wild is you could have the conversation both ways. And there's only 2 games left in the regular season, and we could one way it could be the fire, get a new guy, or the other way, he's the best coach ever at Nebraska.
I mean, if he wins one tournament game, that feasibly buys him 2 more years.
Agreed.
Oh yeah. Well, Hunter, you can't tell me leaving that stadium after the first game we went to that you thought this team would be sitting where they are now at the end of the year.
I wouldn't say it changed that much. I mean, it was the first game of the year, and I was not surprised, but that was one game. I mean, against I don't even know how that team's doing now. They didn't look good.
Rio Grande.
But was it last year? I went to their first game against Doane.
Yeah,
the exhibition game, and they were down like 15-8 through like 8 minutes. Like
what Blanket Hunter came on the podcast and was just
we went to the tournament that year. So I wasn't thinking like I'm not surprised where we're at. Like Austin said at the top of the show, we all probably had us around this 20-win mark, like right around here, and that's
pretty much what we did. It just sucks at how we got there. All right, let's move on.
It's March, but I love it. I love March. I love college basketball now is getting close to conference tournament time. A lot of them starting up. I love just following and watching all those, and obviously the tournament and all of that. So March is one of my favorite months of the year for good reason.
From this weekend through April is the best time of the year.
I know we've done this before, but we won't do it tonight. But
best sports seasons.
Go back through these months and seasons because there's debates. This is probably it might be my top, but there's some other months that are pretty damn. We did
that draft during COVID. And I want to say October was up there because you had basketball, NFL, college football, and baseball, and hockey.
NBA kicking off. It's there's a lot there.
I think from this weekend until you go straight. So you go March Madness, the Masters, and then starting NBA playoffs. I think it's all back to back.
Stretch.
Yeah. I think it's the best. But then talk to me first season of college football.
First week,
I'll say this is the best.
All right. While we're still on college basketball, and we don't got to go through a whole little thing here. I did just want to talk about what you guys thought about the toughest Big Ten arenas to play in, road environments. I just saw Big Ten Conference posted one of their interview videos with all the coaches, and there's a couple of pretty common ones that came up. But did you guys see that video?
I did not.
Nope.
So this will be kind of fresh to see what you guys think. If you just want to throw some out there, some of the toughest places to play. There is one predominant one that, I mean, I think they're all the 18 coaches. I would say probably at least 10, if not closer to 15, said this one arena.
I'm going to guess Assembly Hall.
No and no.
Purdue.
Purdue and Mackey Arena.
That was my second guess.
That's actually my top three right there. Indiana, Purdue, Michigan State.
And Indiana was who Matt Painter said and a couple others said. Michigan State.
PBA's got to be a little feisty.
They didn't get any votes by the coaches.
No.
Who'd you say, Austin?
PBA, Pinnacle Bank
Oh,
Arena.
PBA?
Yeah.
I can't remember. One of the newer coaches from out west said Rutgers is from what he heard. He's like, I haven't played there. But he said Rutgers, which I mean, Jersey Mike's Arena in the rack. Like Nebraska's had their fair share of struggles. They're just unique environment. But Michigan State, Indiana were the other two that got thrown out there the most. I don't even know if anybody else got mentioned, but pretty consensus. I thought the Rutgers one was funny.
I think PBA's got to be one of the nicest. I don't know about atmosphere wise.
I agree. It is not the ones that we're mentioning, Assembly Hall. I can't remember the field house at Michigan State's name. They're all like, I don't know, they're college arenas. They're college. PBA is more professionalized. Looks like more of an NBA arena versus a true college arena, like some of these other ones. Okay.
In there.
Now, okay, wait, one more. Easily the worst arena, Oregon, just for that court.
I don't mind the court.
I hate that.
I don't mind it.
Oh, I hate watching it.
I don't know what the worst one would be.
And do you remember that crowd when Nebraska played there? That was embarrassing.
I do.
Yeah, they have to be the worst. I don't know. USC and UCLA can get really bad too if their teams are bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of those, and I don't know, like Big Ten wise. I mean, I feel like Northwestern's not ever
no, yeah,
great at anything when it comes to fans bases, but
the barn up in Minnesota, that place can get rocking.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
I've never been to an away basketball game.
Well,
that's not true. I went to a neutral site game against K-State in Kansas City.
I guess
I've only been to K-State.
Went to Manhattan last year. We didn't go to Nebraska, but went to a Purdue exhibition game, and we were out there for the Nebraska football game.
Yep, did that.
So been in there, but yeah, as far as Nebraska road games, not much. Let's move on. NFL Draft Combine updates here with you guys, and just general thoughts on it. You know what? I think they all helped themselves. I think
I agree.
Like I don't think you could argue the opposite way. Ty Robinson had a really, really strong day, especially with his 40-yard dash time. I would never have thought he has a vertical jump of 33.5 inches, but he does. For being 6'5", 288, which when I heard that, I'm like, I thought he was bigger than that, I think he's lost 20 pounds.
That's why he's so quick and can jump so high.
Yeah, so whether that be what he's going to play at, I don't know. Maybe that's what he was told he needs to be playing at in the NFL. That's what I had to guess. So he had a very good showing. Fedoni and Isaiah Nayer also had good showings.
Yeah.
And Tommy Hill, the other one that will be in the draft, he didn't do any testing. But I think they all helped their cases. And what's so hard about this, and this happens every year when it comes to draft time, if we have guys in the draft, is if they test well. And I'm thinking of offensive linemen off the top of my head that then go on and have good NFL careers. It's like, well, what the hell do we do with them at Nebraska? Like,
yep.
Why do we not make use of them? I'm sure that conversation will get brought up. I mean, Nayer is probably the bigger one. In the 1 year that we had him, we really didn't use him. If he ends up getting drafted, I don't know that he will. Maybe late round. Ty Robinson, I thought, had a very solid career at Nebraska. He was one of our defensive leaders this year.
Fedoni was just marred by injuries.
And I expect he probably will continue to be that. So, good for those guys. I mean, having good days. I don't have many more thoughts on their performance or where I've heard Fedoni potentially being a day two, or not Fedoni, Ty being a potential day two, round 2 or 3 guy. As kind of his ceiling. I think Fedoni, if he's your mid to late round, and then Tommy Hill's probably in there somewhere late round as well.
Which he dropped off.
He did. He did.
He had a bad year. He was projected like first round going into the year. Too many injuries.
Dak, no thoughts on?
Nope. Did not watch the combine or look up anything about it. So I have. Wait, there's one thing. Did you guys see Will Howard's
I should not.
combine day? It was the worst performance I've ever saw a quarterback have at a pro day, or not a pro day, but the combine.
I did hear about it. I didn't see it, but yes.
You guys will have to watch that video after. It was awful. Easily the worst. Like I thought he was going to be okay. I think that might have dropped him like 3 or 4 rounds. It was that bad.
He gets off Max Duggan energy. I feel like he's he'll get drafted, but then he'll just serve as a backup practice squad guy for a couple of years and then disappear.
And that's my combine wrap up right there.
Last topic here I want to bring up, and I believe this has probably been about a full week ago since the news came out about Nebraska hiring Pat Stewart as the new GM, which we had a GM last year in Sean Padden. He's still going to have a role and on the staff more, it sounds like maybe like a remote type and dealing a lot more with the financial piece side of things. And then Pat Stewart coming from, he has Patriots experience with him under Belichick has been the big recurring theme that I've been hearing. And this brings up a larger topic of conversation of obviously college football and where everything is going. Nebraska obviously being still one of the, call them a blue blood, people probably argue that, but big brand in the college football landscape. Everything's moving fast. Nobody knows where it really is going, and it's changing constantly. And it's going to continue to do that over the next few years. I want to get your guys' gauge on, with this hiring of this GM, making it a little more NFL-like, which we all said it's moving that way. On a scale of being lagging behind the times to 10 being we're the leader forefront of making proactive decisions with everything that's going on. Where would you place Nebraska at? Sports in general, but mainly targeting football.
I feel like we're in the middle.
That's what I was going to say. The GM thing has kind of just started up.
But you've heard of other people having the GM.
Yeah. So they're definitely not the leader in it, but they're falling, it's getting big now. And I feel like you hired it right in the middle of the pack when everyone's starting to get one.
So what's the number?
6.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, so I guess I was going to say a 7 as well, but I was going to frame it more as I feel like we're on the forefront edge, the front edge versus the middle. 7 or an 8 is where I was thinking. I think that we're making a lot of moves because we feel like it's what needs to happen. Now, what needs to happen and what actually leads to success is 2 different things. It still comes down to winning on the football field, and we have not done that still over several years. But we still have the resources and the support right now to be funding and supporting hopefully a powerhouse type of program. I think all these moves are as a result of that. Who knows? Maybe 5-10 years down the road, we're going to look back and say, nope, Nebraska was actually leading that for packed in a lot of these things. But we don't know that mainly because I don't know what other schools are doing, but just hearing what Nebraska does just through some of the daily podcasts, weekly podcasts and news that we hear in the off season at Nebraska, it feels like we're making a lot of decisions and framing that, I guess, in a positive light, which what's new? That's what we do.
I will say, when I heard this, I felt good about it. You know, it's like, all right, Patriots had been a pretty good organization for a long time. But my other thought was, damn, how many people are we going to have in our freaking building? And we got Phil Snow up there. They're keeping the previous general manager. They got the new general manager. We have 4 offensive coordinators, 2 defensive coordinators.
So here's my thought to try to explain that. As long as you have the vision and structure in place and the responsibilities clearly laid out, I don't ever see a problem in more is better. Some people I think disagree with that. Where when you start talking about too many cooks in the kitchen, I know we've had that conversation on here before. But if the structure and the responsibilities are laid out in a way that leads to success, then I always think more is better because you have more diversity of thought and opinions. What's fascinating with this all, you're growing in that way. You're actually cutting players in the actual people that are doing the playing for you, and that's getting smaller. And so you're managing a smaller group of people with a larger amount of people. That's where I think something that might get overlooked. Now, these GMs and these personnel directors and coordinators, and hell, all these offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators that we have on our staff, they can now focus more on silos of people, and especially in recruiting, especially in NIL. Like I've heard so many comparisons, and people are just probably trying to put a thought on it, just like we are, of the high school recruiting's like the draft, and you can't go out and sign rookies and you got to pick and choose which rookies are signing to massive deals and you want to keep around. You got to be very strategic in your high school players on who you're paying the big NIL deals for, because you can't afford one, roster space, but then financially too, to bring all of those people in and have a bunch of walk-ons. And you can't have some random guy from Lincoln East say, hey, I'm going to go to Nebraska and let's check this out. Like you got to spend your time and your time, like when they come and recruit, like to make it about the recruits that you actually really, really want and make it really special for them. That's where I think all these people come into play, as far as all of that organization and coordination goes, which is new. It's brand new to college football, but it's more like NFL scouting, combines, free agency, and the draft. Like that's what the comparison is more to. And I completely agree with the way it's going because the contracts are coming, which is also NFL based.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that's honestly what I think we're prepping for is contracts. And that's why you bring in a general manager and you keep your other general manager on because you know someone's going to be in charge of the contracts and the negotiating and all that stuff.
Yeah, how long do you guys think it'll be until these contracts start happening?
2 years.
Yeah, I was going to say less than 5.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really soon here. And that's mostly just because you're trying to get rid of that transfer portal, I think, like it is now. Everyone can leave after 1 year, but now you sign these contracts. You want players to stick around for 2 or 3 years.
And this is the other fun piece that goes along with it. You mentioning a lot of guys, going somewhere and leaving. A lot of times when you're recruiting, right, you are in a recruiting battle for a high school kid. There's 5 schools left. You get knocked out when they cut down to 3. You go, okay, well, not going to get that guy. What's funny about it now is that you keep those guys in the radar. You keep talking
with them. Get them in another year.
Good. In a year, depending on how their situation goes, you're back on the market for them. And there's a reason you're in their top 5. So it just opens up so many more jobs and types of situations that could happen with the portal. And that's where, again, teams that do it the right way and are on the cutting edge and leading edge of it, they're going to see more success. And we have to take advantage of that time that we have while we're still having the resources for us at Nebraska, like to move up in that ranking, which ultimately starts with winning games come fall.
Guess gotta start winning. It's great that we keep announcing new hire, new position.
I mean, recruiting really doesn't even recruiting freshmen to come in doesn't even really matter anymore.
It does for select positions.
Yeah, but I think we
I
talked
mean,
about this earlier in their football season. I think the portal's
you're
bigger
more
than
likely to
recruiting
recruit
now.
guys who are going to play day one.
It
You're
does
not going
for
to
your
look at the development guys.
it does for your select positions, but what are those positions? That's what these people are getting hired for to figure out. Like just my own opinion, I think wide receivers, I would not ever try to recruit high schoolers wide receivers. I don't even think that that's a question. The portal, there's so many of them. There's so many guys that come from Division 2, 3 that have great 2 years there that are ready to take the next step. Like that to me is one position you don't target in high school. I think that's where these people are deciding though on those kids. And back to your point, I think high school kids it's just like the NFL draft or the NBA draft, right? You can build your team on two ways. You can just free agent it every year and make trades. And I'm not saying trades are coming, but I think a lot of this NIL transfer is kind of like it, where you just continue to reload like Fred's done for our basketball team, or you tank and you get a lot of picks. Now that scenario is not non-existent right now. I'm not sure how you would ever get there when it comes from draft picks and high school kids, but high school recruiting is a little more like drafts where, yeah, you're not going to build a whole team, but you can hit a gem if you do it the right way.
Gotta win. Gotta win.
Gotta win. It's funny how that's not changed over the last 6 years.
Nope.
Okay, well, it's big week for Nebraska basketball, and women play, I believe, is it tomorrow or Wednesday? First round.
I think it's Wednesday.
So they got the 11 seed, I believe, in the tournament. They're very bubbly.
I feel like they're
right now. They should be in.
Yeah.
But still they're a little bubbly. So, yeah. And then obviously the men, 2 big games here before we talk next.
We got to do the weight watch.
Oh yeah.
He did not help out the stripe out at all. We'll just say that. Wore a purple jumpsuit to the game.
I'm gonna, and I'll say it. I don't care. That bugs me, because it makes it all about him. Which whatever. He tries to. He has to make sure it's all about him. Which again, win games, go right ahead. I don't give a shit. But we aren't there yet. His weight, I did hear, or I guess it was the coaches talked this last week, and they gave specific examples about him doing a lot of cardio in the weight room, and how he's there in the morning, and they get there first, and he's in there riding the bike, or so there's a talk there, not just amongst us. There is talk that he's losing weight or needs to lose weight. I can't tell you if he looks slimmer. That jacket was pretty
pretty tight.
I was saying it was loose as far as the type of jacket that he was wearing.
Well, you're coming to a strap out. He sat front row right there. He's wearing that. He just stick like a sore thumb. It's like, dude, what are you doing? I didn't like it, but whatever.
Get rid of him.
Yep.
Give me Heinrich.
I'm surprised I didn't fire you up, Austin.
I didn't know until right now, to be honest.
He looked like he was transferring to K-State wearing that jacket. He really is what it looked. I mean, it literally looked like a K-State jacket. That light
honest gut reaction. Get rid of him.
Go to K-State.
Be a freaking student athlete, Support your school. Wear the school colors. How hard is it?
Especially when we're doing a stripe out. That got a B rating.
That's true. Had he worn white or red, I don't know what section he was in.
I had no clue what color section I was in. Thank God I wore red and we were in the red section. I thought when people weren't white, I'm like, holy crap, they're actually we are gonna stick out like a sore thumb if we don't if we're not in the right section here. Nope. We're good.
All right. We'll be back next week. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.